I like Patrick's quote that he would have stopped me. I just want to know where he was in Game 3.
I can't really hear what Jeremy says because I got my 2 Stanley Cup rings plugged in my ear.
JR, so we had a little Thayer Academy talk a few games ago. The Bruins played Chicago, so the JR profile was done on Nesson. Obviously,
I saw that.
Did you? Yeah,
that was
great.
That was very cool. My brother actually sent that to me last night, and I was really happy to see that. That made me that brought a lot of warmth to my heart. So thank you for that. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, of course. And I'm here in Boston, so there, there's all the connections, Mott's and JR, and there's always everyone's connected to you somehow down here. But going through the Chicago highlights, my favorite one is 96 and Patrick. The two of you going back and forth with the jock and the rafters and then the rings. Just can you walk us through that series? I mean, that was prime time for me.
So remember I told you about my clipping in the mouth was one of the most times I was angry. That series was the other time when I was the most angry because we actually had a lead on Colorado in the playoffs. I think we're up 2-1 going in Game 4. And in Game 3, I just lit up Patrick Roy on a breakaway and just absolutely burned his jock severely bad.
Folks, you won't see him any prettier than this. Roenick has the ability to really pick up speed when he receives the puck and make great moves at a high tempo. And he totally fools Patrick Roy on this play. And
scored a goal in the Game 3 win. Well, Game 4, we go into overtime, and I'm on a breakaway. I mean, clear all-out breakaway. And I will tell you, this is the worst non-penalty call in the history of NHL hockey overtime playoff games. Sandis Ozolinsh pushes my feet from behind and a clear-out breakaway and trips me. I mean, I have a breakaway and I don't even get a shot off after I just burned the shit out of Patrick Roy in the game before, and I don't even get a shot. And McCreary doesn't call a penalty. I mean, I don't know if it was McCreary or Koharski, which one of the two. I think it was McCreary. And I'm like, are you fucking shitting me? They don't call a penalty, and I'm complaining about it, and we end up losing the game. And Patrick hears me complaining about it. He says, it doesn't matter if I would have saved it anyway. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. But where was he in Game 3? I put him looking for his jock up in the rafters and so on and so forth. And then he comes up with the best line to shut me up, right? I don't hear what Jeremy Roenick say for the 2 Stanley Cup rings that are plugging my ear. So the only thing I can say is, hey, can you please tell Patrick Roy the United States we have plurals? So if he has 2 rings plugged in his ear, his other one can hear me. So shut the fuck up. And it just went back and forth. And I know Patrick and I had a very big, deep respect for each other, and we played, the same type of mentality game in our minds, even though different positions. And he's just one of the best competitors I've ever played against. That was one of the cool parts of my career for sure.
So to that point, when you look at, I mean, you scored 500 plus goals. Who's the best goalie in your mind that you would have played against?
To me, it's Marty Brodeur. He played such a style because he was a big goaltender like Patrick, but his technique was so. He covered the angles so well, and I think he was so disciplined in net. In that age in the early 90s, where Patrick and Brodeur, they pretty much revolutionized the butterfly style, which for a lot of us it kind of confused us, right? It wasn't the Greg Millen, Grant Fuhr, kick out, hit, knock it out with the stick, and don't want to go on the ice because they're too out of shape. They have to pick themselves back up, right? Yeah. These are the goaltenders that actually started to get in shape, right? Marty Brodeur was definitely more, was bigger, was definitely more athletic, and always drove me crazy. And I can't tell you how many times I get in front of that net and that little stick just would come up right in the smoothie and knock you out for about 3 shifts, man. Knock you out. Yeah. You know what that's like, Razor.
It's so gutless. I feel guilty about that sometimes.
I can imagine you just couldn't wait to get that little smoothie shot into somebody in front of that net, right?
There's a list of guys.
Yeah, for sure.
JR, I want to ask you a question. I get a lot. I get it a lot because I roasted them online, and it hasn't gone away since with fucking Babs. But I just want one of the reasons why everybody loves you is you speak your mind, you say it how it is. Maybe give me a couple of coaches, like I'm not saying roast him or anything like, but a
Yeah.
coach that you liked, and maybe one so much that, that you didn't like so much.
For me, the one coach that I had the biggest love-hate relationship with was Ken Hitchcock in Philly. Um, when you're in a Ken Hitchcock locker room, it's Ken Hitchcock's team, right? And he's one of the best coaches I've ever played for, one of the most brilliant minds that I've ever played for in terms of his hockey knowledge, his ability to work a bench. But he just complained all the time. He whined all the time. And I was one of those guys that liked to have fun. And I wasn't the guy that was, that was stringent in the locker room, that didn't smile. I always wanted to have fun. And he was like, JR, why you always have to be on your own page? And I'm like, because my page is more fun and it's better and it's more exciting, and your page is boring and you just want. So it was just one of those guys. We were like sandpaper. I respected the hell out of him, but he drove me crazy. I can remember playing in the game and he's yelling at me in the game. And I literally stopped and said, will you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to play a game here. Like, it's enough. I'm tired of hearing you whine. But you can't take away how great of a coach Ken Hitchcock was and what he did in the game. He will go down as one of the best coaches of all time. I just wish that he stopped. And he wished I stopped my mouth too. So there wasn't enough air in Wells Fargo Arena for both of us.
Yeah, I had Hitch for a year and a half or so in Columbus, and I same thing with Hitch. I always thought, maybe you'll agree with this, if we could have had Hitch on game day during a game, if he would stay in the fucking locker room and come in the intermission and give his little spiel. And then when everybody else goes out for the game, if he would just stay the fuck off the bench and stay in the coach's room, I don't think he ever would have got fired. Because all of the problems, at least when I was around, was he just got on the bench and would not shut the fuck up. You could be winning the game 5-0 and be all over somebody for like doing some minor turnover in the first period.
Yeah, I remember Guy Carbonneau told the story when he was in Dallas the year that they won the cup. He literally yelled at the team so much he went off the bench and said, "You guys do your own thing. I'm out of here." And he walked off the bench because the team was sucking so much. All of a sudden, the team changed. Yeah. He left. Carbonneau came on, took over the bench, and they came back, and now they were winning. So then Ken came back onto the bench, and Guy Carbonneau goes, "Get the fuck off the bench.
Fuck out of here.
Get out. You're done. Get off the bench. You're not welcome here. You leave us once, you're out." I thought that was like the greatest story ever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you like the game now, JR? Do you like the way the NHL is right now?
It's a great question, Razor. Really, that's a great question. I think the game is as talented. I think what these guys can do on blades and what they can do on skates and ice, they're specimens, right? But I just think it's a boring, bland style of game. Everybody can do the same thing. Everybody can shoot. Everybody can skate. Everybody can, there's no physicality anymore. The fighting has been drastically decreased 80% in the game. I am an old school type of guy. I think it does not play well over TV. It's the talent is as good as it's ever been, but how many times you see a defenseman behind the net throw the puck from behind the net all the way up to the blue line, they tip it in and they go chase it. There's very little creativity left in the game. You do have your players like Zegras who are fun to watch. Obviously, Connor McDavid's the best player I think ever to put on blades. He's the most talented player I've ever seen. I'm amazed at their agility and their ability to play the game, but to me, it's just not exciting. I want to see a good fight. I want to see somebody get hit really hard and not have somebody come and fight just because the kid got hit hard. It's part of the game. And I think what the league has tried to do to protect players from themselves, which is okay with the headshots, but these ticky-tack penalties, you slash somebody in the hands, you get a penalty, stuff that doesn't matter in the game. I think they're trying really hard to increase the goals, but now that they have increased the goals, I mean, take out the slashing on the hands penalties, the stupid ticky-tack stuff that you don't need. But so to answer your question, I like it, but I don't love it.
Listen, we really appreciate the time, JR, and it's so gracious and love the storytelling. And I feel like we could, we're just starting to peel back layers. We could go all day on this, but I got to tell you, one of the I've been fortunate enough to cover a lot of cool events, in my lifetime, and Leaf fans are going to kill me for bringing this up, but covering that 04 series with Philly and Toronto, I mean, You called game,
Hey,
right? You called game with that. And
that's it.
what a shot
That
on
was it.
What a shot. What a rocket
It's
over Eddie.
It was my favorite. It was my favorite goal of all time. And I mean, it was my favorite moment because I'd never heard Maple Leaf Gardens or at the time
silent.
But it was
silent.
louder. It was louder than I've ever heard it when Sammy Kapanen got hit. And by the way, Sammy Kapanen got hit by Darcy Tucker harder than anybody I've ever seen. I tell you, every player in the league right now, if they get hit like Darcy Tucker hit Sammy Kapanen, they would be out for 2 months. They wouldn't even come back to the rink. Sammy Kapanen gets up. He gets up, gets off the ice. Actually, Keith Primo had to reach out with the big hook.
Yeah.
Hook him off the
Get
ice.
him in. Yeah.
Yeah, I jump on, score in overtime, and knock them out of the playoffs. And to my love of, and I love Toronto. I love Toronto. I love the fans, but they have not won a series since that goal, and that makes me so happy. They have the JR jinx. That does make me happy.
Yeah, they beat Ottawa. They beat Ottawa in
years.
round 1, and then they lost to you guys in round 2, and have not won a series since that 2004.
18 years. They got the JR jinx.
The JR jinx.
That's
I like that.
Where can we find you? Where can we find you these days? If people want to find more JR.
Yeah, so I actually do a podcast with my good buddy Andrew Peters and Craig Rivet after the whistle on Wednesdays. That's kind of my only connection to the game. Besides that, you got to come out to the golf course and play with me. And I'm getting you out there, Kami, really soon. I wish you can come with me into South Carolina next month, but I'll get you out to Pebble next year. And I'm going to Pebble tomorrow, so I'll let you know how it goes.
I would love that. And am I going to see you in Georgia the week of the Masters? Are you going with Drew?
We'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be there.
Okay, I'm not playing, but I think I'm meeting you guys right after you're playing, or maybe Tuesday to Friday or Wednesday to Friday. I'm looking forward to it. Yes.
Well, listen, maybe we'll skip a day at the Masters and go play Sage Valley. That'll be great.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I'd like that. I've heard good things about that place from old George Brett.
Or we'll play Olympic Augusta Country Club. I got some connections there too. Razor, get your ass out there too, buddy.
You got lots of connections, JR. Thanks, man. Appreciate you coming on, dude. Thank you.
Hey, anytime. I'd love to come on with you guys anytime.